On the drive north, there's a little roadside shop I always stop at. From the outside, it looks ordinary, but inside, they serve something you won't find anywhere else. This is Waireka Honey, famous with locals for its honey ice cream. The ice cream itself is creamy and packed with flavour. Also, if you like real fruit ice cream, which is vanilla ice cream blended with frozen fruit, they serve it here too. But the twist is that they use their creamy honey ice cream as the base. And the portions, well, when it comes to portion size, generous doesn't cover it. For me, a trip north never feels complete without stopping here. We're off the main highway now, taking a back road that only locals really use. It crosses the Halcombe Plateau with sweeping views of rolling hills and farmland. One of my favourite ways to get to Feilding. It holds a lot of memories. I used to bike to school on this road and know a lot of the people in these very houses. Back in the day, the entire stretch of land between Sanson and Bulls used to be owned by one family, the Wilsons. I went to school with their youngest daughter. In her generation, the farm was much smaller, but still sizable, with 3 houses, cattle, horses, and they were in the process of going organic. In fact, when King Charles came out to New Zealand, he was a prince then, he flew to the military base just down the road and visited their farm to see how they ran it. And here we are, this is Feilding. It's bustling today. Every Friday there's a farmer's market in the square, and just a short distance from the CBD there is the Saleyards, and one of the biggest events in the community. This may look like an ordinary street, but step in here and you're in another world. These are the Feilding Saleyards, the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. Busy, noisy, and steeped in tradition. Every Friday, farmers drive in from across the lower half of the North Island to buy and sell thousands of sheep and cattle. This is the most fascinating place to be. On the left, you can see cows standing in a pen that kind of moves when they do. It's actually weighing them. Above the auctioneer, you can see the weight of the cattle. And look at this, an elderly stockman inside the pen with those feisty bulls. Just a stick in his hand and sheer confidence, calmly guiding them out once they're sold. It's a real skill. And maybe just a little bit of bravery too. In the yards, you can get really close up to the animals and walk alongside the pens. We arrived a little late in the day, so the pens are looking a bit empty at the moment. It was cool for you to see the Feilding Saleyards today. Honestly, most people go to Feilding and not know that it's there. It is 1 block from the CBD. Because there's really nice gardens on the outside, you could walk past and just not really notice what is behind. Farmers come from far and wide. So today there were farmers from Taihape, Wanganui, Pahiatua, Waipawa. They would have been up before dawn, getting the cattle in, getting the sheep in, and driving down here. Good thing is that right next to the Saleyards is the Saleyards Cafe, where you get bottomless tea and instant coffee and buttered bread. Well, that's how it used to be back in the day. I wonder if it's still like that. Just very old school cafe, you know, take your gumboots off at the door and go get a real big feed like gravy on hot chips and steak and things like that. something hearty after you've been working on the farm since dawn. At the Saleyards today there were about 1,500 sheep and 1,900 cattle in the store sale. And separate to that, some farmers were marketing themselves individually through agents. They had their farm names listed and where they're from. So for example, such and such farm in Taihape. So you can get a sense of where the cattle have been raised and whether they'd be good to raise on your farm next. It would have been quite a big sale today, but actually a really normal one. And we've gone on this road trip to Feilding, which is very much home to me. Before moving to Wellington, I used to live here for some years and I was very much connected with the local community. I worked for the tourism agency back in the day that promoted this whole region, Manawatu region. I also belonged to Keep Feilding Beautiful for a while, promoting the importance of community to local people, picking up rubbish. We had competitions each year for the most beautiful street. We did community plantings, which we called beautification projects. And because of that, Feilding is genuinely a really beautiful place. It's had such a ripple effect. So the current mayor of Feilding, Helen Warboys, before she was in her job, she did something very similar but with the local retailers. Every time she heard that the council were going to dig up a part of the street in front of the retailers, she would take a professionally landscaped plan to the council and say, well, you're digging a hole in the footpath, how about when you put it back like this? And it would include beautiful paving stones, heritage style lights and bricked in planter boxes. And she was successful every single time. It wasn't that much more money for the council to refurbish the street in that way. They were going to have to spend a lot of money anyway digging it up, so it was just very little more effort to make it beautiful. Thanks to her efforts, the CBD of Feilding is really lovely. You'll notice it when you come here. There's just something nice about the town. If you are planning to drive down these parts, if you're coming from Auckland south to Wellington or in the general Wellington area, do make time to come to Feilding on a Friday. It's really special. Like, you get to be part of real rural culture and understand how a small town in New Zealand is connected to the farms, how the people are connected to the animals, and you get a sense of real New Zealand life here. So at 11 o'clock on a Friday morning, there's actually a tour you can go on through the Saleyards. Today I just wandered through as a normal person, but it's well worth getting the tour because either a former drover, farmer will take you around. They will share what it means to them. Like, a former drover will tell you what it was like camping out with the cattle on the way to the Feilding Saleyards each Friday. And if you drive out of Feilding, you'll actually notice that the roads are really wide. Not the road itself, but the grass on the side is really wide, and that's because coming into Feilding from all different directions was for farmers. It was for these drovers to camp out with their stock and their dogs. So they needed space on the side of the road to camp. Maybe you haven't seen stock trucks like this before. Let me know in the comments. They even have a space underneath for dogs to ride along. You can see the metal box on the left by the last wheel. Today our visit happened to coincide with the truckers' big day out, an amazing event for families. Massive rigs, stock trucks, logging trucks. We're driving into this charming town square, picking up passengers for $1 or $2 and giving them a ride around the block. All proceeds went to Ronald McDonald House, which provides accommodation for families near hospitals. The weather's really packing it in now, but I've got one more task to do before I go spend time with family, and that is to send this postcard. So I've handwritten a message to a very good friend of mine in Japan, and I need to put this in the post. So if you didn't know, I have Postcard Club. Every month I design and release new postcards and I send them to you with a handwritten message. I just think it's a wonderful way for us to connect more than just you watching my videos. I can actually write you a message and send you my good wishes. So if you would like a postcard, check out the link in the description and I will send one to you. Thank you for watching today. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. If you want to tell me about where you're from and the place that feels like home to you, drop a link in the comments. I'd love to get to know you more and find out about some cool places around the world. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Hey, did you spot the little postcard graphic I hid in the video with a secret link? If you did, drop a comment and let me know where it was and what you thought. I'd love to hear from you.